Am I the asshole for blocking access to my food and threatening no help with accommodation? I, 22 male, am in my first serious relationship with H, 25 female. We have been together just under a year. She moved into my place 3 months ago. Everything was fine in the beginning, but once we started seeing each other more frequently I noticed her bad habit. Every time we went out and food was involved she would sample my food before I got to it. We are not just talking of a chip here and there from my chip butt sandwich. In actual classy places she would take the first chunk of my steak, salmon, cake. You name it, she would take the first bite. I had several talks with her about this, but she said it was cute and not sinister. 4 months ago H got a job with training opportunity. After completion, when she returns to her normal place the salary will be higher. My place is 40 minutes closer than where she used to live and I offered her to live with me rent-free if she stopped this behavior. The first month she stuck to our agreement. The second month she slipped up a few times. This last month she has gone back to her old ways. Last weekend a turning point. I bake, it's hobby. I made cake. After dividing it into 8 I left it in the fridge while I went out with a friend. Usually when I bake and friends drop me off I will fetch a few slices and thank them for the lift home with the cake. Imagine my surprise when I saw that each piece had a bite taken. I phoned my friend that I owed him cake and he needn't wait for me to come back down. I was angry. I told her that she embarrassed me and we needed to figure out a solution. She went defensive and said she ate it due to loving me so much. That all women do this and guys love it. I made it very clear that she needed to stop now or there would be consequences. Next day I bought a lockbox for the fridge. She was livid, but couldn't do much. Last night she broke the lock and had taken a bite out of all my snacks and 2 slices of baguettes in there. I told her to pack her stuff and leave while I stay with my mother for a few hours. She called me asshole for making her homeless and possibly ruining her employment opportunities. Reddit, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Also, major red flags here. She went defensive and said she ate it due to loving me so much. That all women do this and guys love it. Nope. They don't. This is very weird behavior. She's ignoring your boundaries, and then she's using your inexperience against you to manipulate you into thinking this is normal. This is not a person who is acting in good faith here. This is a woman who is trying to use your inexperience and things like societal pressure on women regarding food to make you think your very normal boundaries and emotional reaction to your boundaries being crossed is incorrect. She's trying to get you to doubt yourself, your ability to set boundaries, and your emotional reactions. This person is bad news. Get away from her. Am I the asshole for not telling my husband he smells sooner and ruining a friend's wedding? This week was the wedding of 2 of my husbands, 33M, and my 31F, longtime friends. For some background, recently we've been having some issues. I told him I needed some space, so we agreed he should move back in with his mom temporarily. I wasn't thrilled about this because she tends to baby him, though I had to accept it as he had nowhere else to go and I wanted him out of the house. I wondered what to do about the wedding. We talked and decided it would be best for us to go together and for him to move back home afterwards. He didn't have time before the wedding to pack up his things and so got ready at his mom's while I got ready at home and we planned to meet there. When he arrived I was already chatting with friends. He came over to us and immediately I noticed this rotten stench on him. He smelled like he'd been dumpster diving. It made my eyes water a little. I noticed our friends noticing, but he was completely oblivious and kept on chatting. I tried to let him know discreetly but he was not getting the hint at all. We took our seats in the chapel and the service was beautiful. By this point my nose had pretty much tuned out the smell but it was clearly affecting other people and I still hadn't had a chance to let him know. After the service I saw an old girlfriend I hadn't seen in years and wanted to catch up. Apparently, while I was chatting with her, a friend had pulled hubby aside and basically told him he stunk. He got upset and demanded we leave immediately. In the car we argued and he told me I was a horrible wife to let him embarrass himself like that in front of friends and I was probably laughing behind his back. He said that I knew he could be forgetful and since he was my responsibility as his wife I should have called him up at his mom's to remind him to shower. Usually he'll come in when I'm in. I was speechless and said nothing the entire car ride home while he berated me. This morning I checked my phone and we have both been removed from a number of group chats that included friends that went to the wedding. I heard through some friends that the bride feels we ruined her day. More people were talking about my husband than we thought, and she no longer wants to speak with us. I'm shocked and really hurt by this and have been feeling guilty all day. I didn't want to embarrass him by letting him know when other people were around, but now I've cost him friends and feel like I handled it all horribly. So am I the asshole? Told him he stunk. He got upset and demanded we leave immediately. In the car we argued and he told me I was a horrible wife to let him embarrass himself like that. Strong opening. He said that I knew he could be forgetful, and since he was my responsibility as his wife I should have called him up at his mom's to remind him to shower. There it is. I'm gonna go, not the asshole. Your husband is the one who ruined their day by showing up smelling like a whale carcass. You could have said something. You did not. From his reaction I'd bet he'd be mad either way, telling him or not telling him. And honestly he should be embarrassed. He is a grown man, living with his mom, who still requires his wife call him daily to remind him to shower. F that. Am I the asshole for writing up an employee who catfished me? I'm a manager in a work environment that's rather casual where employees get close and spend a lot of time together outside of work. I'm a little traditional when it comes to employer-employee relationships, so while I do participate in some activities to build morale and camaraderie, i.e. happy hours after work, attend weddings if invited, etc., I do not participate in social activities where things might get out of hand, i.e. going to concerts, clubbing, just going to someone's house to hang out, etc. This is a personal policy that I also extend to social media, where I keep my profiles private and do not add or accept employees on all platforms. I just like to keep things private and don't want them to see where I spend my time, who I'm dating, etc. Recently a new hire asked me for my account, and I kindly let her know that I like to keep things private. I thought that was it, but she went ahead and made a fake account to follow me, going as far as to post fake photos and write a fake bio to look like we went to college together. I found out because after I accepted her, she took screenshots of my photos and shared them to other colleagues. Thankfully there wasn't anything off base on my accounts, but she did share photos of a new boyfriend I haven't introduced yet, as well as photos of a new designer bag I purchased, and, jokingly, asked everyone if he was my sugar daddy. It was a huge breach of my privacy. Her comments also embarrassed me, and I ended up writing her up, which is a semi-serious offense at our workplace that can lead to termination. Since then, it's caused a huge drama at work, with some employees thinking I can't take a joke and that I was taking things too far, while others came out to support me. I hate that it split up the team. Upper management supports my decision, but some employees have mentioned that I could have just verbally warned her first and that it was my own fault for falling for her catfish. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, that is a gross violation. She pretty much took the worry most of the general populace have and made it a reality. The blatant victim blaming by your employees also needs to be addressed, preferably in a seminar where they take harassment training. Keep an eye on those employees, because it sounds like worst case scenario they would do something similar as a joke. Edit. Thank you for all the likes and awards, guys. I just word vomited this out of sheer disgust. Not the asshole. She knew you wouldn't accept her following, so she went around to maliciously dig into your life and, dare I say, humiliate you. And it couldn't be your fault, because even if you didn't realize it was a catfish, it's not uncommon to add someone who may have something in common in the case that they would have a reason to reach out. Not the asshole. New hire? She hasn't built up enough cred to be able to joke with you like that, and frankly, that's not even a joke, it's weird insubordination and harassment. Fire them. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to work after I told her she didn't have to 16 years ago? We got married in 2006, we had 3 kids in 3 years following, and I stated to her that she can raise the kids while I work. Now the kids are 10, 14 and 15 and in school from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. daily, so I asked her to get a part-time job to assist with a couple of our bills. She went off on me, stating I lied when I said she can be a stay-at-home mom when we got married, and her family and mine are agreeing with her, but I said it's getting to be a mental strain on me financially since I've taken 2 pay cuts at work and don't have the luxury of looking for new employment. I even started doing food deliveries on the weekends just to keep 2 older kids in sports programs, and when my youngest asked to do gymnastics and I saw the cost, I said I can't without sacrificing other required bills, and now she says if I can't afford a family, why did I get married? I'm just at a loss on what to do. I work from home and even offered my wife a job with me part-time while kids are in school just to answer a few of my calls and transfer them appropriately to the departments they need. My family stated I told her she doesn't have to work, but our needs have changed since the kids require so much more money now than they did when they were younger, and now my wife hasn't spoken to me in 2 weeks and both sides of the family agree with her. Not the asshole. Times change, inflation is high, money is tight. And it's not like your pay is entirely within your control. It would be one thing if you were like, yeah, I don't feel like working anymore, and expected your wife to take on a full-time job to pay for everything. But that's not what's happening. You're doing what you can, and you're asking her for help. I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to work. Not the asshole. The kids are old and out of the house most of the time. Why does she needs to not work? Sounds like she got used to not working and now doesn't want to. If she continues to refuse, I say stop working so hard. Just provide the basics and give her a very tight budget to run the household. Not the asshole. You may have given careless promises 16 years ago. But realistically your family needs either more income or to start cutting costs.